Boyd, I have a question for you. So, especially now with the MMA, obviously it's getting a lot more popular now. You've got your guys like your Hendrikz fighting UFC, like the whole country is getting behind them. How important do you think it is for somebody like that, for the popularity of the sport in the country, like bringing it up? Like a lot more people are now joining gyms. Like everybody, people used to just go to the gym. Now you see everybody does boxing, everybody does MMA, everybody wants to try like a fighting sport now. How important do you think that is for the youth coming up there?
I think like with any sports, when we have guys at the top, they start to expose what the sport is about. People in South Africa specifically, other than the like die-hard fans, don't really understand mixed martial arts. They don't understand that a fight can hit the ground and what happens on the ground, for example. They don't know what jiu-jitsu is. So when a fight does hit the deck, you'll hear half the crowd in black pants shouting, like, stand them up.
Yeah.
Like, why? The fight doesn't stop. It's the truth at the end of the day. Where the guys that are avid, like, lovers of the sport understand, okay, this is grappling, this is jiu-jitsu, there's wrestling in this. There's a massive part of the sport that people don't understand. And with guys like Hendrikz doing well, Don Madge, Chad Honeycomb, fighting in Brave. There's a massive amount of international fighters now. We've just broken into the Japanese market with Risen. PK at one championship, Don in PFL. There's guys that are breaking out.
PFL's that one that Jake Paul signed with now, isn't it?
That's the one.
Yeah.
Please. He's not talking
You
about
don't like it? Come on. We'll get there.
But people are starting to now travel. They're starting to put themselves out there from a promotional point of view, where most of us, or all of us, started at UFC, which is the foundation of African MMA. Say what you want about them. They've done an amazing job, and they continue to do an amazing job because it's the platform that our fighters need in order to grow. But yeah, I think it's super important for the South African public in general to start to understand mixed martial arts a little bit more, and to understand the different aspects of combat sports that go into creating an MMA athlete.
I was also thinking about, like, you get the EFC and the UFC, and then we always look at it as like, we African, we always have not as good as like Americans have. So is it like the same as we look like PSL towards the Premier League, or is it like actually similar?
Well, I think so, but
because football, he's speaking like we know football terms. We're 5 years behind Europe. You know what I mean? 5-10 years behind Europe. How far are we off from the top leagues?
Guys say that, but for example, like Simon, right? He's also in the UFC.
Yeah.
He smashed his Contender Series. He was here in EFC. He's there now in the UFC. He's just won a good fight. He did well. Dana White's talking about him. So it's also, you know what I mean?
It's money, boys.
It's an individual sport. So it all comes up to the individual. Do you know what I mean? We got a guy, they call him the special one. He trains at Colin Nathan for boxing. He's 11-0 right now. He just fought, what world title did he get?
Abia, I think.
He got a massive world title right now. And he comes from thinking about boxing in South Africa.
Yeah.
He goes overseas, DJ Creel. Do you know what I mean? You got guys that, so you can look at, like Boyd said, it's a great foundation. It's an amazing platform.
It's just better than, like, let's say, we just using it as an example next to football.
Yeah, so you got to do, UFC's the pinnacle. Everyone wants to get there for their own reasons, for the fame, for the money, whatever it is. But then, like now, with your Risens, Bellator, PFL, One Champion, they also got great fighters. So you could get a guy like, let's say...
It's branching out now. There's more than just the UFC.
Exactly. You could get a guy in like UFC that might not be a champion there, but then he goes to another promotion and he's a champion there. Or you get some guys, like look at Michael Chandler. He came from smashing guys at Bellator. He's gone to UFC. He beat one or two guys, but now he's getting pumped. Do you know what I mean? So it's tricky. It also comes up to how you perform on the day and all of that stuff. But like,
that's a fight for you. You could prepare and you can be great, but if one shot lands,
whatever it is.
I think the difference as well, like you were asking, was the exposure and the money. You wouldn't see guys leaving African MMA to go and fight in the States if you were getting paid the same amount of money. Those guys are earning $50,000 a fight. Here you don't even make 50 grand a fight. Like there's a massive difference.
But I think it's also because, is it not because there's so much more money coming in?
Of course,
that side,
and that's why it's so important to get behind your sport locally, because you want it to grow.
It does better
and
for
the
athletes,
the more the support gets behind your African promotion like EFC, the bigger and better it grows, the bigger and better the purses are. more and more fighters get into the sport, because you're not going to join a sport if you're going, they can make nothing from it. There's no future in the sport. But if you see guys buying houses, buying cars, of course you're going to get involved in the sport, because there's
it's viable.
a livelihood to be made.
Punching people.
Exactly.
Not a bad livelihood to be made.